Hey there, this is Noni Carr from Enhanced Life Psychology, and yes, it is World Happiness Day, and it seems like a really odd thing to be celebrating at this particular time, but it's really helpful to think about it. So this is part of my series of videos about how to cope in this, with this global pandemic of coronavirus and COVID-19. So there are so many people struggling. We are feeling overwhelmed with so much information. Not all of that information is from reliable sources. Some of it is rumour, some of it is hyped up information that people have said and we've been told and this has been told, and a lot of it sits firmly within that category of scaremongering or panicking, creating this panic and anxiety within the community. A lot of it also sits within that this is science, this is what we need to be aware of. But then, when we look at the news, we don't see much else other than coronavirus or COVID-19. We don't see much but this in our social media feeds. But on World Happiness Day, it's something that we can take a step back from and go, why is this an important day to recognise and celebrate? Well, this is something that is recognised as something that is really important in our well-being. And at this particular time, it's even more important and even more valuable to take note of those little things that might create a moment of happiness. We know that happiness is not something that we can aim to be and to have, to experience all the time, 100% of the time. It's just not possible within the human condition to be happy 100% of the time. I do know that everyone has come across someone who seems to have just such a positive, happy outlook on life. I guarantee you there will be moments that they are struggling too. They might not be as obvious to the rest of us. But what having a different outlook or a different perspective on life gives is a little bit more, an easier way of managing these anxious times. And one of the things that we could maybe look to in these times where everything's all about coronavirus and COVID-19 and fatality rates and infection rates and all of that, is to actually look at where's the good news amongst all of this? What good news can you find? And I've shared a few in my personal social media feeds, and one of the wonderful photos I saw was of the canals in Venice. They're clear. You can see the fish and the seaweed in the canals of Venice. And this is an indicator that the canals, the water systems around Venice are recovering with having this break on people using motorboats and being on the water all the time, which is their key way of transport in the area. But it's a way of the environment, having a bit of a break. And I think that's one piece of news. I've heard lots of stories about people who are less mobile or less able to reach top shelves in the supermarket or less financially secure and being helped by strangers. So I've heard a story of someone struggling to pay their supermarket bill, and the person working on the register actually dipped into their own wallet and paid the balance. I've heard a story of someone really, who is disabled and has a disability and struggles with movement, who was assisted to the front of the queue to get into the supermarket to get supplies that they needed. And not only were they assisted to get in the queue to get into the store, they were assisted once they were in the store. And these little things, I've heard stories of people offering, putting up signs in the local community, offering help for anyone who might need it. If they can't leave the house, do you need me to go to the shops for you? Do you need any supplies? Someone who is less mobile, less able to leave the home for other reasons, not just the health reason, COVID-19 and coronavirus needs, being helped by their neighbours. And I think, that's something that is there. There are a number of industries that are really struggling at the moment, given that events have been cancelled and there have been limits on the number of people allowed to gather together inside. So hospitality venues are likely to really struggle. Theatre, music, those events are comedy. They've been cancelled, so these performers are going to struggle. And a lot of them have gone online to share their music, their performances. There's a performance of Edith Piaf Uncovered that's would usually be held at the Melbourne Recital Centre on Monday, but it's been recorded and it's going to be put up online for those who would be going. I've actually seen, just this morning, I've seen two people who have taken two songs and just changed the words completely. So one was My Sharona, that's been completely changed to My Corona. It's quite interesting, it's quite funny. And there was another one that was, I think it was a Dolly Parton song that was Jolene, that's been changed to COVID-19. So instead of singing Jolene, it's singing COVID-19, which is, same syllables. And I think these little things that people are doing to bring humour and laughter and bring their culture, these experiences to the world, helps us find that little moment of happiness that can improve our mood and our perspective on what's happening. So I challenge you on this International Day of Happiness, World Day of Happiness, to find a moment to laugh or to reflect on what you're grateful for, because that's also something that is really such a wonderful way of noticing what is good in our life and what can create happiness in our day. And so when I think about, I'm going to share with you, when I think about what I'm grateful for in this, this time, it's the fact that I absolutely have a roof over my head. I do have toilet paper at home. I do have hand sanitizer, not in ridiculous amounts for either of those things, but I've got enough that I can cope. But the other thing is, despite the fact that, there's this social distancing, I can keep working. I can keep working in an online capacity. I can keep helping clients. And I think that's something that I'm incredibly grateful for technology. And I can maintain connection with friends and family who might need to quarantine or might need to engage in more extreme social distancing or social isolation to keep themselves well. And so I think that's something that there are a few things I'm incredibly grateful for. And when I think about these things, my mood lifts. I feel a little bit happier with how fortunate I am, but also with what I have and what I can share. And I'm also grateful for the fact that I have this way of interacting with you, the watcher, and that this can actually help. Maybe this can go some way to helping you. And so I'm going to leave it there. And as always, I'm here to help you live your most enhanced life. Thanks so much. Bye.